right this time. And essentially what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the feet. Some of you have already done this with me, but I'm going to try and answer a few more questions and go through a few things. Now, Claire is again going to be my model. Claire has a really high arch foot and has quite a lot of problems because of that high arch locking up in her knee and her ankle. I'm the exquisite example of a flat foot. So I'm going to, when I do one example, I'd let you choose whether or not you're a flat foot or a high arch foot, and then you can do that. But we're all going to start just with some stuff around releasing our feet. So take your middle domes out, and I just want you to have your two outer domes, okay? And all I'm going to get on yours, Claire, you can have your pink version. I'll work on the purple. There's too much magenta going on with me. So what you're going to do is just start walking your feet over the domes just to warm up. Now, I live in Queensland and it's brutal temperature here of about 10 degrees today. Yeah. 10 degrees Celsius. So I probably have no argument compared to the rest of the world. So tell me, if you're cold, you're probably going to feel this more. So take only the outer dome. Just walk your feet back and forward. Now this is relevant because if you're in the cold climates, your feet are going to be stuck inside. You just keep walking back and forward, and you can balance using my social distance stick if you need. Now, in cold climates, your feet are going to be entrenched and in there. If you're in a hot climate, you're probably going to start seeing a lot of plantar fasciitis because people are going to be coming out of those nice enclosed shoes into flip-flops, or we call them thongs here, where those flip-flops mean that you've got no intrinsic muscle support. So we need to make sure that in our session we can accommodate for both. And even during winter, we're working on intrinsic muscle strength. So at the moment, just walking back and forward, just wake your feet up, just get a little bit of sensation. Remembering, if you're working with clients who have got peripheral neuropathy, so diabetes, all sorts of things like that, it may be too painful for them to be walking on these straight away. That's why you might just have just the hollow out a bit, or put a towel over the top. Okay, so you just stand there. Now, what happens with Claire is that she has such a beautiful high arch foot, it gets kind of locked laterally. I'm just going to bring us into the dark. That's it. That's the way our government likes. Okay, so what I'm going to get you to do is appreciate that because her foot is high arch, she tends to lock up a lot on this lateral line, okay? So it means that all of along here gets really tight. So Claire, what I'm going to get you to do is just walk on the outside of the foot like that, okay? Is that nice and painful? It's good. Works out. Now, for those of us lucky enough to have flat feet, we're likely to be very locked on the inside of our foot and all along this medial line. So for us, you want to just walk along the big toe and through that. Just warm your feet up that way. Okay, do both sides. Okay, so remember, lateral feet, you're going to see the cuboid bone is going to be too high. Where's that foot? Oh, so let me show you. So just keep walking over it. So remember, cuboid bone, just that little bit there, going to be lifted, and it's going to force the edge of the little toe to be twisted a bit. And so that's going to lock you up through the fibularis here, tightening up through your perineals and all those muscles along there, and probably put a fair bit of strain on the high part of your fibula. So your fibular head is going to be locked. So all of that then is going to address issue of your lateral malleolus and, not your lateral, lateral meniscus and into your ITB. So this high arch foot, there's this whole issue laterally. So Claire's just working there. You flat feet people, see like the navicula's gone here. That's how bad this one is. So the navicular foot's dropped, therefore placing strain on your tibialis posterior tendon, placing a lot of strain medially on your talus and a lot of strain on your medial meniscus. So you're wanting to just address that either way. So just note which one you are. Now, for a high arch foot, what we're going to do, Claire, can you just stand here? And I'm going to get you to take the time. She's going to press down and she's going to lengthen through the big toe, through here. Yeah, nice. You can see how on the little toe, for a lot of you who are high arch feet, that little toe is going to be twisted. So just take the time to really press into the big toe a little bit more and into the outside part of your foot. So if we set a diagonal along there. So she's going to
Carla?
Yeah?
What have you got placed under her foot and what's the orientation?
Just the timber base. Okay? So there and there. So I've got the timber base just there and there. Come closer, Claire. Come into the sunlight so they can see. So, yeah, and there. Oh, just that shot.
You're off camera now.
Yeah, no, just trying to address it there. How's that? Okay, so there she is there and there. Well, so the base of the big toe is just pressing in and lateral. Now, for the other foot, she's got, I still want her to press into, sorry, please, sorry, I'll put that in the wrong spot. She's going to press at the base of the fifth metatarsal and here, okay? So I'm going to try and get her to release that toe, then the knee. Yep, nice. How's that feel? Now, that's for a high arch foot. For we flat-footed people, what you're going to do is you're going to take the domes. Wow, it's sunny in Brisbane right now, sorry. You're going to take under the big toe. Sorry, let me put the light down. And the light. Can you see that better? Yeah. So for the flat foot person, underneath the base of the big toe and on the outside part of your heel. So for these people, and then you'll have the timber base under the same part of your foot as well, just like you have for Claire. Okay. So what you're going to try and do is feel that the space for your flat foot is lengthening from the base of your big toe to the outside part of your heel. Curl your toes down into the floor and lift them up. Ow. Ow. Very unpleasant. Now, high arch people, you step off. Nice. Does that feel? Ooh. Now, what I'd like you to do, high arch people, is the one that had the domes, the little domes, underneath your foot. I just want you to stand on that foot. Nice. Can you feel that there's more connection to your glute? Now to the other side. So remembering, flat feet people high arch people, they tend to have what we call the technical term, pancake arms. Okay, so they're not, well, you might, those of us here have got a bigger booty. So that pancake bottom can be affected by the way the little toe is sitting because you're not able to activate through that glute line. So getting her to do something like this before scooter is really useful. You can do the other side, Claire. While those of us who have bigger booty but flatter feet, we're probably going to end up with more of this issue, fat thighs, really, you know, little old things, because these muscles aren't activating as well. You'll also see more of an issue of the arches collapsing and loading up the lateral meniscus. The medial meniscus, sorry, the medial meniscus. I haven't had a coffee this morning, I'm sorry. So now, just do the other foot while we do that. So we're just going to try and just warm the feet up a little bit and release the joints just enough so that the muscles can work in a lengthened state. Once we can do that, we will then do some strength work, okay? So just enjoy that.
Right, that's right. No, probably not. So that one here should be a little bit more. And there. Okay. So
once you've done that, just step off, just do a little test to see how that feels. Yeah, easier. So the idea is now for both flat feet and high arch feet, we still want to work on strengthening the intrinsic muscles of the feet. So 1 foot each, so the wooden base is going to be there as a support. So 1 foot on each, so you're on the outer. Okay, good. So what I want you to take the time here, just like we did before with Claire, I want you to feel that the base of the big toe is pressing down just off the edge here and lengthening out in the big toe. Then the base of the heel is out there. So this timber, wherever your high arch, is there to support you. To get the sense of length first in this medial arch. Then what I want you to do is take the time to feel that the base of the big toe and the base of your navicular are sliding up and off the timber. Not by rolling out onto the outside of your foot. I saw that. So feel that these muscles are lifting up and off. Yeah, better, Claire. Can you feel that? Yeah. So your feet might cramp. That's okay. Hold it for another 10 seconds. Then, once you start to really cramp, release your feet, lift your toes up to the ceiling. Okay? Then, take the toes down, lift the arches up. Now, what I don't want to see are those little scrunchy toes, okay? That means that your calf muscles are working. I don't want your extrinsic muscles to work. We're looking at working your intrinsic muscles. So that's the muscle between here and here. Then release. Okay, nice. Stepping off there. Stand there a moment and just feel, hey, good. That's up, just lift it again. Nice. Now, what you will find is, depending if you're a flat foot or a high arch foot, different parts of your foot will be very stiff, okay? If you have a flat foot, the mid part of your foot is going to be very stiff, particularly the medial aspect. So it means that you'll hear a very heavy hit of the floor. So what you want to do is work on getting flexibility of that part of your foot. If you're a high arch person, you'll find that the front of your foot gets ripped. So your front part here gets really stiff. So we're going to, for your flat feet people, what you're going to do is get either your little dome, the smallest dome, we'll do purple for contrast, and just press down. Put that at the base of your navicular. So remember, if your lateral malleolus is here, the navicular is just forward of that, okay? So put it just on that, underneath the navicular, and just stand on there and smile, okay? And press your big toe down. If you're a high arch foot, Claire, I'd like you to put your heel just on there and your toes just on the top of the dome. Then the knee. Now, what I want you to do, yes, Claire, that's it. So don't you just try and collapse and stiffen up in this here. You're going to keep your heel on here and you're going to just slide the toes side to side. Nice. How's that? So for those clients who are cheaters, you get the stick and you put the stick there to stop them from rolling from the knee. What you're trying to get them to do is do a little bit of work from the hip, but also from the ankle. Okay, so this is for a high arch foot. And you can see that she wants to sort of jam here. Can you feel that? We don't want that. Remember, for the flat feet people, I want you to first of all just start with your feet on these domes here in the navicular. Then, for the flat feet people, you're going to sort of do it the opposite way. What you're going to do is put your toes on the top of the timber dome there, okay? And feel like the toes are curling round. So you can, like when I do that, I can really feel the arch of my foot sort of cramping a bit, but that's good. I want my arch working for a change. Then what I'm going to do is just move my heel slide to side. I'll get a little bit of work from up here, but the idea is, in old-fashioned terms, it's like when you're putting a cigarette out with your heel. We don't do that anymore, but you know, watch an old 1950s movie and that's the sort of idea that you want, just to get that little waggle in the back part of your heel. Okay, step off. Oh, that feels so much better. How's that? Good. So let's just do the other side. So remember, flat feet people, dome underneath your navicular. Lift, smile, think of coffee. Then, hot. Yes, flat feet, toes curled on the timber dome, and the back is just wagging back and forward like that, really trying to get that work from here. High arch feet people, virtually the opposite feet. Is that? Yeah. Okay. So it's sort of using a little bit like the foot plates. Some of you might have a Coraline, which is fantastic, and you do all sorts of work on the Coraline where you put your feet on the split pedal. Not everybody has a Coraline, so this is kind of nice and easy to do, and nice and easy to do at home. Ultimately, it's about homework. Okay, you can step off that. Have a little walk around and just observe your feet. Don't stress it, but just observe. Is that all right for your feet, Claire? Okay. Now, what I'm going to get you to do is, again, walk over your domes, your spikier domes, okay? Just walk back and forward. Now, one thing that before I did discuss was some clients have got peripheral neuropathy. So this is too much for them to work on, okay? I get that. So put the blanket over, whatever. Also, if I do have a client with peripheral neuropathy or things like that, I might, instead of have them stand on those ones, I might have them just stand on the timber dome, like that. And I might use something like the brush, just the little cleaning brush, and do some work on the sensitization, okay? So remembering that you'll brush away from them to stimulate the extensors. Nice. How's that feel? Very nice. And it can be a nice way to do this too for people who are stuck in that clawing position. So remembering that a lot of people with that peripheral neuropathy or that loss of sensation in the lower limbs from all sorts of things will go into flexor synergies and really go into that claw. So this is a nice little thing to do. Sort of tickles, I know. And then, again, I would do this on the reformer with their feet on the bar and just brush away from the toes up to the heart line. Okay, nice. Does that feel? So you've walked on back and forward on there. Sorry, you're getting a bit of a lesson, but that's all right. You can live with it. Now, this next exercise, I like to do for the high arch feet. I'm sorry, normally it's about me, but I think a few of you have got high arch feet. So let's just put you down there, Claire, and I'll show you the flat feet people. I'm going to show you what to do in a sec. Okay, so Claire, can you just sit down, please? So remembering that with our feet, our tib post and our tib anterior are our little stirrups of our legs. So what I say that is, so you know the muscles, the tib post comes back there and the tib ant goes there. And it sort of helps pull your foot up. When you have flat feet, your tib posts are going to be loaded up and your extrinsic muscles are going to be loaded here. When you have tib anterior problems, your high arch is more likely to be high arch, and so you're going to be really kind of locked up in the shins, okay? Also remembering that weakness in the tib ant is part of what happens in flat feet. So, not flat feet, drop foot. So Claire, what you're going to do is just sit like that. Now, just, no, like that, yeah. You can put that underneath your glute, so you can, the leg that's bent, yep, you can insert that underneath your butt cheek just to give you a nice hip release. Claire.
I know.
Bend this knee. Okay, roll over. Oh, it's painful just watching that. So, and the reason I want to show, really, is that the best you can give me? Give me this leg. Now, so for you, maybe if you could just roll to the side like that. Right? Yeah. Roll to the side. So the reason I wanted her to do it like this is I want her to be able to do this at home. I mean, it gives me great pleasure to do this to people in the studios, but, you know, you've got to get them to be independent. So what you do is you take the two smaller stones and you're going to start, where's that bone again? Oh, over there, sorry. So what we're going to do is your first part is going to be here on your calcaneus, and your second part is just above the lateral malleolus, okay? And you're just sort of going to push in and down, rocking from side to side, okay? So that you can release along. So you're just going to go from side to side. Then, Claire, take the bottom one and move it up. So for your lateral malleolus, for those people with the lateral tightness, you then take it up and you're going to work along your lateral side here, slowly rocking it back and forward so that you can release along here where that line appears from the really tight interosseous membrane that happens when that lateral locking. Don't let me come over there, Claire. For those of you with flat feet, yes, this is a problem, but what I do find is it's more the tibialis posterior that gets strained because the navicular drops down on there. So what I do is I put the two little domes together and make it like a little ball. And I just roll it between my heels like that to start with. And I just do that little rock from side to side. Then I make it a bit more special, and then I'll walk it up. And I'm sorry, I probably did not wear the right coloured pants for this today, but they seemed happy on a cold, grey day. Up and down. And then you just take it up and down the legs. And Claire, you're going to keep going laterally up along there. Yeah. Up and down. Enjoy. Ow, ow, ow. So this is for tibialis posterior, the one I'm doing, and this is a tib ant sort of focused exercise. So remembering, tib post isn't just a flat foot issue, it is also an issue that you see in women of a certain age. I hate saying middle aged because it implies that I'm going to be in my hundreds and I'm still in my, I'm more than middle aged. But after a certain point, people do tend to load up the tibialis posterior tendon and you'll start to see the little bubbles along there. And what I want you to do is focus on releasing that tendon before you start strengthening it, okay? So you want to unload it. Does that feel clear? For those of you who have just decided there's no way you're doing what Claire's doing right now, what I'm going to get you to do is, if you've done your tib post strengthening work, what we're going to do is just do some very simple heel lifts and raises. Now, what I've done is I've placed my feet on the timber domes. So I've got myself in a very small calf stretch. And I'm going to leave my toes relaxed around the timber domes. Just lift my heels up just a little bit and down, okay? Up and down. And what I would suggest to people is do about 5 to 6 of these, okay? Once you've done that, you would then grade that up. When I say grade that up, you would make it just that little bit higher for you to lift. So for some people, what you can do is just put the domes on here and have the person standing on those, lifting up and down. With my stick. Talking and balancing make my thing. Okay. So then you can just slowly, slowly, slowly raise the distance at which you're lifting your heels up. Remember, you're lifting up and down with focus. Okay. Now, I'm going to nag on this because we want, if you have a tendinopathy type issue, and you don't have to be middle-aged to end up with a tib-post tendinopathy, but if you have that sort of issue, what you have to do is slowly strengthen the muscle to unload the tendon. But what happens is many people end up just going too hard, too fast, and end up, instead of strengthening the muscle, they just further compound or load up the tendon. So just going slowly, changing the height of the amount of control that you have to do. If you have a wonder chair, it's really nice to have your foot on the pedal of the wonder chair and your heel on the back, either on the big dome or on the middle dome, like that, as your starting point, and let the pedal lift your foot up that little bit. It's really nice because it helps unlock the ankle, and then you can then do that where you lift the pedal up, and then you do that to actually strengthen the knee. But you want to unlock the ankle first. How's that feel, Claire? No, I'm nagging away. Sorry, everybody. You know, it's not a traditional workout, but hopefully you're learning something. So stand off there and just step up and see how your feet feel. Okay? How's that feel? Yeah. A little bit better. So we have to do a little bit more strengthening work. So we're just going to do that. There's your magic stick. Okay? So what we're going to do, put your toes on there. Yeah? Put your toes on the centre of your timber domes. Put your magic stick in the front there, please. And now you're going to lift your heels up. So this comes back to that strengthening work. That's it. Now, keep your heels there. Now, don't just rock back. Can you see how you're letting that there? Oh, you've got my stick, so I'll have to smack you with my hand and do that again. So it may be that what you do is you put your middle dome underneath, first of all, just to help that. Okay? Nice. Does that feel? Now, the reason I like this as well is that it helps again with toe extension. And toe extension is a really difficult thing. Most people find it really too hard to achieve toe extension when I do like that or when I go like that. But if I don't have good quality toe extension, I can't get good hip extension and good thoracic mobility. Remembering your deep longitudinal sling requires tibialis, anterior activation and toe extension. Sorry if I'm speaking too fast and throwing too much at you, but I expect you to have background knowledge. So coming up, hold, hold, float in the centre. From there, stay there. Now, spiral from your femur up here, roll, bring your heels together. Nice. How's that feel? And back. So it's like being on the rotator disc, but it brings you a little bit more specificity in that work. Nice. Just 10. And if what you'd like to do is be really friendly, stay there. Let me talk Theo. Theo, now, don't you rock back. Keep the pressure forward into the big toe more. Into the big toe more. Oh, now I can see the shape of shame. That's what I want you to remember. You want to keep the focus through the toes, keep that pressure equal. Coming up, lifting up, and then unroll. Nice. So when you don't have your reformer at home, this is a really nice way to get those glutes working, getting good hip extension. Just 10, please, everybody, while I set you up for your next extravaganza. And this is great for the flat feet people because it works on those inner thighs. Because remember, this is a diamond shape. When you do your little frogs like that or your plies, it's a diamond shape. And we all know a diamond is a thigh's best friend. Hours of bad daddy jokes to share with you all. Okay. Nice, just 10. You do that. We'll go and find the lid again. Hopefully you're all doing that and enjoying that. And stay there, stay there. Now keep your heels there. Lower the heels down. Oh, yes. And then lift the heels up. Now, down one more time. Now, what I'm going to nag you a bit, when you get better at doing this, and that, I want you to make sure that the base of the heel bone here, when you do that, rolls in a bit further forward. So Claire, I'd like you to bring what would say present the heels. So feel this heel bone rolls forward. Okay, yeah, nice. Can you feel that? That presentation of the heel allows us to get that nice little spiral and release right through to the pubic bone. Yeah, feel that? Okay, 2 more, and then you can step off and have a little walk around. Stepping off. Ooh. Yeah, take your shoes off. Yeah. Just stop, judge it, then throw the judgment away. Okay, just feel it. How's that feel, Clay? You feel you've got more spring in your step. Which again, that's what we're really looking for here, is that we want to get that spring in your step. Okay? We're allowed out. We need to be able to float again. Okay? Means wearing ridiculously high heels, which will fall off and break our ankles. It will be interesting to see. I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to dressing up again. Put one heel on the timber dome, on the spiky dome, and then the other foot like that. Sort of. Like that. And then change. Drop that back heel, that makes me snap you. Okay? Just 10. Just change, yep. Lift this heel up. Take that heel down. Do 5 that side. And then we'll do 5 on the other. So again, this is about trying to have your feet at different angles to help with the talus glide, but also to work on getting the strength happening in your midfoot. Okay, how's that feel? Did you do the other one like that? Do the other one, and then I'm going to set you up for what you get to do next. I like to put these on the jump board, either the jump stretch board if you have a back for gyrotonic, or the jump board for the reformer, and have people do things like this on their feet so that they can work on an ankle range in an unloaded position. Nice, Clay. You might start with marathons again. No? Okay. So let's come back here, Claire. No, you're standing. You don't get to sit. You try. What you're going to do is put 1 foot forward, like you did there. So heel there and toe on there. Here. No, heel there and toe. Sorry, let me get these a bit like. Gosh, someone's messy around here. And then put your heel back there. Now, you can see she's in a very small stance position. And I don't really want to encourage that. You can hold your stick. Okay? at first, if someone's got an injury, you might start them in this small stance. But I'm going to challenge you. I want you to bring this foot out here. So, yeah, better. Can you see that? So I wanted to encourage her to get a good stride. Small steps are what old people do. When you make small steps, you're likely to trip on a rug, okay? Then you fall, you end up in hospital, broke your hip and die of pneumonia. We don't want that. So what we want to do is encourage large stride, which means you have to have good hip extension. But you also need to have good ankle range of motion. So what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to put this over here. And I'm going to get you to put this one here. Put the heel back. Yep. Now, what I've done is I've put the band over the talus, okay? And I'm going to get her to bend the knee forward. Now, I realise that some of you haven't got a band at the moment, but you don't have to do it with the band, but I find the band just gives that little extra, okay? I see someone's asked a chat question, so I'm just going to let's see that. Okay, just do that back and forward. Does that feel good? Nice. And then changing feet. So now,
is it possible for her to go profile so I can see the angle of the ankle, please? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks.
So there and there. So can you see, if I had it, like, I would actually even encourage it even further out. Can you see how it probably feels like quite a big stride? But if she's too short a stride, like that, if she's too short a stride, can you see that sort of stride? If you think you're walking, can you see how, if you're working on that range and you're encouraging people to work like that, can you see how stiff they would be at the hip and the knee? You wouldn't get knee flexion, okay? And it's not ideal. I like to do this on the reformer as a split elephant version as well. So I just put the Makarlu on the reformer, have you on there, and then as you bring the carriage back and forward, you can sort of have that helping as well. Nice, Claire, how's that feel? Good. Now, if you step off there, take your underpants off, okay? Throw them up there, get a bit saucy. Okay, how's that feel now? Good. Now, a few people have asked me about bunions as well. And so essentially a bunion, yeah, I'll put an example here because the toes have fallen off. But a bunion is essentially this metatarsal here, the base of your big toe. The top bone on the toe bone has deviated laterally. So you end up with the bone sitting this way and a spur develops here. So really what we're trying to do is encourage the bone to adduct, the top big toe, adduct, so that it can sit better on this metatarsal. At the moment, if you're seeing a bunion, the toe is abducting, okay? Now, the problem is that for some people, the bunions are so great, they've ended up spurs there, and it's so much of a deviation. But the idea of all of this work that we're talking about here with the timber base is about encouraging you to put the base of the big toe on and feel like it's going across to the midline as much as you can. And it really does make your arches cramp. Be also very aware that with that big toe deviating like that, you'll see changes in the way your pubic symphysis works. So it's a little bit more complex than just changing the big toe positioning. It has an impact all up the spine, all up the pelvis, and you'll see this change from the big toe position to a torsion in the way the pubic rami sit as well. That's a whole different story. That's all. Oh, actually, just one more thing before we finish. I have to do my favourite, calf release. So remember, 2 middle ones, boobies. You can sit down on there. And put that underneath the base of your calf muscle. So, can you sit in profile? Yeah. Actually, gosh, I'm missing out. So, might even just contrast. Yeah, create some contrast. Discovering new patterns probably, I love them, but they don't work that great. So start at the base of the gastroc, and then you move it down to the next part, and you just wobble. You've got your muscle in the middle there, and you wobble it back and forward. If you like, you can also flex and dorsiflex and plantar flex your foot as you do your nuts. Does that feel? Okay. Now this is a really nice way just to trigger through and release through your muscles of your calf. And as I mentioned to you, the people with flattened feet or tibialis posterior problems end up with really prominent calf muscles, which end up getting very tight. So you have to release that and then go back and do your strengthening work for your intrinsic muscles of your feet. So this is where you might then go back and stand on the timber dome. If, on the other hand, you have something like drop foot, which is neurological generally, it can be because of an upper motor neuron problem, so that the calf muscles are constantly in spasm. So remember that when you have an upper motor neuron, so that's a neuron above the brainstem level, has a lesion because of something like multiple sclerosis or cerebral palsy, the muscle's constantly in spasm, it's contracting constantly. So you need to find ways to relax the muscle and then try and build the strength of that muscle so that if it's going to constantly contract, you're wanting it to be in a lengthened state as you do it. Drop foot can be for a number of other reasons, but remember, it's not just about stretching. You have to trigger and release, and then you have to strengthen as much as you can, okay? And a healthy routine is part of this. That's all I'm going to do for today, because I think that I might have just given you too much blah blah. However, what I will do is I'm going to hopefully be able to download the recording and share that with you again through the Vimeo. And I actually, on the Vimeo, have put a more detailed, probably better recorded version of some other foot exercises as well. So I'll download this and hopefully I can upload this in the next few days, well, hopefully later today, and then I will share it on the Facebook group as well. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy. Thank you. Bye. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Wasn't as bad as I normally do. Normally I stuff it up. So thank you.